Two tourists planned the same Europe trip. Both wanted the same dream vacation. Two travelers, one dangerous difference. Paris, Rome, Berlin, beautiful cities everywhere. Everything looked exciting online. Everything felt perfect. Both travelers prepared carefully. Flights booked early. Hotels reserved months before departure. Everything looked organized. And honestly, both travelers believed they were fully prepared. But then something shocking happened. One simple insurance decision changed everything completely. The first traveler was named Imran. The second traveler was named Daniel. Both needed Schengen travel insurance before applying for visas. Both searched online quickly, and both saw hundreds of insurance options immediately. Cheap prices everywhere, professional-looking websites, official documents, instant PDFs. Everything looked safe, but the real difference remained hidden. Imran focused only on price. He searched cheapest Schengen insurance. Within minutes, he found a very cheap policy online. Low price, fast process, instant approval. And honestly, it looked perfect to him. Professional logos, formal wording, visa coverage mentioned clearly. Everything seemed official. So he purchased the cheapest option immediately. Daniel approached the situation differently. He researched carefully. Coverage limits, emergency medical support, hospital assistance, claim systems, emergency transportation, and policy exclusions. He spent extra time comparing everything. And honestly, the stronger policy looked more expensive, but something felt different, more professional, more detailed, more trustworthy. Imran laughed when Daniel showed him the price difference. He said, "You wasted money." Daniel smiled quietly, because he believed protection mattered more than cheap pricing. At that moment, neither traveler understood how important that difference would become later. Both travelers submitted their Schengen visa applications successfully. Both received approval. Everything looked perfect. And honestly, their Europe adventure finally began. The first days felt incredible. Beautiful streets, luxury shopping, historic landmarks, famous restaurants. Everything looked exactly like social media photos. Both travelers explored Europe happily, and every night, they shared photos with family back home. Everything felt safe. Everything felt peaceful. But then something unexpected happened. While traveling between Germany and France, Imran suddenly became seriously sick. At first, he ignored the symptoms: headache, weakness, fever, body pain. He believed it was simple exhaustion, or maybe weather changes. But within hours, everything became worse. His breathing changed, his body started shaking, and suddenly, he collapsed inside a hotel lobby. Hotel staff panicked immediately. Emergency services were called quickly. An ambulance arrived within minutes. And honestly, that moment terrified everyone around him, especially Daniel. Because suddenly, their dream Europe trip became a medical emergency. The ambulance rushed Imran toward a nearby hospital. Bright lights, sirens, emergency questions. Everything happened fast. And honestly, Imran still believed insurance would handle everything smoothly because he had Schengen insurance. At least, that's what he thought. The hospital staff reviewed his insurance documents carefully. At first, everything looked normal. But then something shocking happened. The hospital administrator returned with serious questions. Weak emergency coverage, low medical limits, restricted hospital support, and hidden exclusions. Imran froze completely, because suddenly, his cheap insurance looked very different. Doctors immediately started emergency treatment, blood testing, emergency scans, medication, observation. Everything moved quickly. And honestly, the hospital looked extremely professional. But professionally expensive too, especially for tourists. Several hours later, the first estimated bill appeared. More than 6,000 euros. Imran stared at the estimate silently. He believed there had been a mistake, but there was no mistake. Europe's healthcare systems become extremely expensive for tourists without strong insurance protection. Most travelers never realize this before emergencies happen personally. The hospital explained everything carefully: emergency room charges, doctor consultations, testing fees, medication costs, observation expenses. Everything carried separate pricing. And honestly, his total bill was only getting worse. Meanwhile, Daniel experienced something completely different. Because Daniel purchased stronger insurance coverage before traveling. Full emergency medical support, emergency hospitalization, hospital coordination, direct billing assistance, and emergency hotline support. Immediately, His insurance company communicated directly with hospital staff. Everything looked smooth, everything felt organized, and emotionally, Daniel remained calm. That emotional difference became impossible to ignore. One traveler experienced panic, the other experienced protection. One feared debt, the other felt emotionally safe. And honestly, that difference came from one decision before the trip even started: cheap insurance or proper protection. Most travelers focus only on visa approval. That becomes dangerous, because many people believe Schengen insurance exists only for embassy paperwork. But emergencies abroad reveal the real truth. Travel insurance is not just documentation. It is financial protection, medical protection, and emotional protection. Imran checked his insurance policy repeatedly. Now he noticed details he ignored earlier: low emergency limits, weak claim procedures, restricted hospital coverage, complicated reimbursement conditions, and hidden exclusions. At that moment, fear completely entered his mind, because suddenly, his financial future looked uncertain. The hospital requested payment guarantees. That moment terrified him even more. Most tourists never imagine hospitals during vacations. That feels normal. People imagine sightseeing, restaurants, luxury shopping, beautiful memories, not emergency rooms, not financial panic, not medical fear. But emergencies happen unexpectedly everywhere, even during dream vacations. And preparation becomes extremely important when they happen. Daniel watched everything carefully. And honestly, the emotional comparison shocked him deeply too. Because both travelers visited the same countries, both experienced the same trip, but only one felt financially protected. That realization changed everything emotionally. Imran called his family late at night. His voice sounded weak. He tried explaining the situation calmly, but even he struggled understanding how fast costs increased. Every treatment added more pressure. Every hour increased fear. And honestly, his nightmare was only beginning. Most cheap insurance policies advertise fast visa approval. That attracts many travelers immediately. But hidden behind low prices are dangerous limitations. Low medical limits, weak emergency support, limited hospital coordination, poor customer service, and complicated claims. Most travelers never study those details carefully, because everything looks official online. But official appearance does not guarantee real protection. Daniel's insurance company continued helping professionally. Emergency hotline support remained active, hospital staff communicated smoothly, and emotionally, he felt protected. That emotional protection became more valuable than money itself, because stress destroys peace during emergencies very quickly. Protection creates calm, and calm becomes priceless abroad. Meanwhile, Imran barely slept that night. Questions filled his mind constantly. Would insurance reject more costs? Would treatment stop? Could he afford everything? Would he return home with debt? The emotional pressure became unbearable. Many travelers believe Europe is safe. That assumption feels comforting, but safety and emergencies are completely different things. Even safe countries have illness, accidents, emergency treatment, hospital bills, and financial risks for visitors. That's why preparation matters everywhere, especially during international travel. Imran slowly realized something painful. The biggest mistake happened before the trip even started: trying to save money on insurance. That one decision changed everything later. The hospital eventually increased the estimated costs again. Additional observation, further testing, more medication, specialist consultations. Everything added more charges. At that moment, Imran stopped thinking like a tourist. Now he only thought about survival and debt. Most travelers never understand emotional stress during emergencies abroad until it happens personally. That stress changes everything mentally. Sleep disappears, confidence disappears, peace disappears, and suddenly, vacations become nightmares emotionally. Daniel later admitted something important. Before traveling, even he thought strong insurance felt expensive. But during emergencies, the protection became priceless. That realization shocked Imran deeply, because now he understood the difference between cheap paperwork and real protection. Most tourists search online using one dangerous phrase: cheapest Schengen insurance. That simple decision creates hidden risks later, because cheap insurance often focuses on visa approval, not real emergency protection. And during medical crises abroad, those weaknesses become terrifyingly clear. Travel insurance companies operate very differently. Some prioritize customer support, others prioritize low prices only. That difference becomes visible during emergencies, not before. Strong insurance providers usually offer 24-hour emergency assistance, direct hospital coordination, fast communication, emergency transportation support, and professional claim systems. Weak providers often create confusion instead: slow replies, unclear policies, complicated claims, and financial stress. Imran eventually asked hospital staff something painful. "What happens if I cannot pay immediately?" The silence terrified him, because emergencies abroad create real financial consequences. And honestly, that fear changes people emotionally very quickly. The Europe trip no longer mattered. Only survival mattered now. Meanwhile, Daniel slowly understood another important truth. Travel insurance protects more than finances. It protects mental peace too, because during emergencies, calm becomes priceless. And strong preparation creates calm. Most tourists never discuss these experiences publicly. They post photos online, luxury restaurants, beautiful hotels, tourist attractions. Nobody posts hospital panic. Nobody posts financial fear abroad, because those moments feel deeply personal and humiliating. But those situations happen more often than travelers realize, especially during Europe trips. Schengen visa systems require travel insurance for an important reason. Governments understand emergencies happen unexpectedly, and tourists without proper protection create financial risks abroad. That's why insurance requirements exist, not simply for paperwork, but for real emergency situations. Unfortunately, many travelers misunderstand this completely. They only focus on getting approval cheaply. That habit creates dangerous situations later. Imran later admitted something painful. He said, "I thought all insurance policies were basically the same." That misunderstanding almost destroyed his trip financially, because not all policies provide equal protection, and emergencies reveal those differences brutally, especially during international travel. Daniel's stronger insurance policy covered emergency treatment, hospitalization, medication, testing, emergency transportation, and coordination support. Imran's cheap policy covered only limited portions. That comparison shocked everyone involved. Imagine two travelers again. Same countries, same vacation, same emergency. Completely different emotional realities. One experiences panic, the other experiences peace. One fears debt, the other feels protected. That difference begins before the flight, with preparation and smart decisions. Most tourists underestimate hospital costs in Europe, especially tourists visiting multiple Schengen countries. Emergency room treatment becomes expensive quickly. Ambulance charges become expensive quickly. Specialist consultations become expensive quickly. And without strong insurance, tourists face those costs personally. Travel preparation should never focus only on saving money. It should focus on reducing risks too. Smart travelers prepare for both, because international travel creates unpredictable situations constantly, and emotional safety matters during those situations, especially during emergencies. Imran slowly recovered physically, but emotionally, the experience changed him completely. Every future trip now feels different. More careful planning, better insurance research, smarter preparation. Because fear taught him lessons excitement never could. Most travelers believe nothing bad will happen. That assumption feels comforting before vacations. But emergencies never ask for permission first. One illness, one accident, one unexpected moment, and everything changes instantly. That's why awareness matters, education matters, and smart preparation matters more than travelers realize, especially during Europe trips. Daniel later explained something important. The stronger insurance policy cost more initially, but compared to emergency hospital bills, the extra cost looked tiny later. That realization became extremely powerful emotionally, because many tourists focus only on short-term savings. They ignore long-term risks completely. And unfortunately, those risks appear during the worst possible moments: medical emergencies, hospital visits, financial crises abroad. Travel insurance should always include emergency hospitalization, ambulance support, emergency medical testing, specialist consultations, emergency transportation, and strong medical coverage limits. Travelers should always verify policies carefully before flying internationally, because not all insurance policies provide real protection. Some only create temporary comfort until emergencies begin, and when emergencies begin, weak policies create dangerous situations quickly. Imran eventually left the hospital physically stable, but emotionally exhausted. The Europe trip he once called perfect became unforgettable for completely different reasons: fear, stress, debt concerns, and regret. All because of one simple decision before traveling: choosing weak protection instead of real protection. Most travelers visiting Europe continue making dangerous assumptions. They believe cheap insurance is enough. But emergencies abroad become expensive very quickly, especially for tourists. That's why preparation matters more than people realize, even during peaceful vacations, even during dream trips. Imran returned home safely eventually, but emotionally, the experience changed his understanding of travel forever. Every future trip now begins differently: more awareness, more preparation, more caution. Because emergencies abroad taught him painful lessons permanently. And honestly, many travelers only learn these lessons the hard way, through fear, through panic, through financial pressure. But smart preparation can prevent those nightmares before they happen. Before buying Schengen travel insurance, always ask yourself one important question. If an emergency happens tomorrow, will this policy truly protect me? Because that answer can completely change your future abroad. Cheap insurance may feel smart before travel, but during emergencies, the real financial reality becomes terrifying. And honestly, that difference can change an entire trip emotionally. Many tourists visiting Europe continue repeating the same dangerous mistake: choosing insurance based only on price. That habit creates hidden risks everywhere, and unfortunately, those risks often appear during the worst possible moments. Travel should create memories, not debt, not panic, not emotional trauma. That's why smart preparation matters, especially during international travel. Subscribe to Global Policy Guide for travel safety, visa updates, insurance awareness, and real travel risk stories.